Wait, let's do it together.
Okay.
Hi!
I'm Zayani.
And I'm Zanaya, and
welcome to our YouTube channel. So we are super excited because, as you could probably tell from the title, we are doing the mid-year book freakout tag.
We're actually obsessed with watching these because we've been watching them for a lot, like since quarantine. We've been watching these like religiously, so we're so excited to make it.
And we thought it would be a really good idea for our first YouTube video ever.
Yeah. So you may know us from TikTok because we've been making videos on there for a while. But
Probably
if you
not.
if you probably don't know us, but if you are from TikTok, hi there.
Yes.
If you're from TikTok, thank you so much. If you want to go and check us out there, that'd be really fun too. So
Yeah.
it's right here.
Yeah.
Let's get started. Okay, so how this is gonna work is that Zay's gonna go first, and then I'm gonna go. We're gonna go individually, and then for the questions where we have like the same answers, we'll be together.
Because it's just a little bit awkward when I'm sitting here.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. So
We are probably going to do like a get to know us type video, like our hobbies, our likes.
like what we want this channel to be about, like what we're gonna showcase. So
So
stay
look
tuned.
forward to that. This tag was created in 2012 by Ely and Chami on BookTube. We'll link their channel in the description.
And all the
their
questions.
videos. So the first question of this tag, starting off super strong, is what was the best book you read in 2024? Just me here, Zayani, if you didn't know. So my best book of 2024 so far is not really like my best book ever. It was like just a book I really liked. I feel like my reading year has been pretty slow. It's been pretty busy. It was our senior year of high school. We graduated. So I haven't really been reading a lot. But this is a book I really did like, and it kind of stuck with me for a while after I read it. So that book is Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. So basically this book took BookTube, Book Talk, Book Everywhere by storm. Like nobody was not hearing about this book when it came out. I was the same. I was pretty much taken by the hype, and I really did like this book. It was one of my first vampire books, if not my first vampire book, and I really enjoyed it. I thought the lore was super cool. So I'll do a quick little summary. What this book was about is there is the vampire king's adopted daughter, Araya, and all of Araya's life she was basically prey everywhere she went. She's the only human in a world full of vampires, and she had a really rough childhood. Her greatest desire basically is to become a vampire and be second in command partners with her father, the vampire king. And so the only way that Araya's biggest, deepest desire could be fulfilled is if she participates in these trials held by their goddess. Not really sure what her name is, but so the competition is called the Kajari, and Araya has been training her whole life for this tournament, and at the end of this tournament the winner gets to choose a wish given by their goddess. So in the Kajari, the competition that Araya joins, she meets Rain, and he is her enemy, sort of. Everyone is her enemy in this competition. It's pretty much every man for themselves. Except she forms a alliance with Rain, and the two of them get closer than she ever thought they would. I'm pretty sure I rated this book either 4.5 or 5 stars. I don't really remember. I did really like this book. It was super gritty, it was super dark, and yeah, I think if you like vampires, if you like competition-y-esque, dark, like morally gray characters, you would really enjoy this. My second best book of 2024 is All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So basically the Natural series and her Inheritance series took me by storm. I'm pretty sure I started the Naturals last year, but I read All In this year, and I really enjoyed it. I love mystery, I love crime shows, like love Criminal Minds. These books, usually the tagline is Criminal Minds but with teenagers, teenage agents. There are 5 teenagers, and each of them have a natural talent, a natural gift that makes them extremely good detectives and extremely useful to the FBI. And our main character, Cassie, is a profiler, and she became this way due to her mom, and her mom was basically a mentalist and taught Cassie everything she knows. Cassie in the first book is looking to find out what happened to her mom after her disappearance years and years ago, when she meets another natural who takes her to the house that they all live in, and together they start working on cold cases. So each of the 5 people in this book, one of them is a profiler, Cassie. Actually, there's another profiler too, and there's an emotion reader who reads the emotions on your face. There is a liar who can tell when you're lying, and she's very very good at lying, and then there's a mathematician. And the 5 of them have been working on cold cases together. Throughout the books, it becomes more and more if you know Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I think if you love mystery, if you like Criminal Minds like I do, or crime shows in general, you would really like this book. Hey there, it's my turn. My first best book of 2024 has to be Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarrow. I know, like, this is so cliche. This is everybody's favorite. Genuinely, like, I love fantasy. It's my favorite genre, and this is like everything I seek in a fantasy. Okay, so quick summary. This book is about Violet, who is the daughter of a general. Within their kingdom, there's 4 cohorts of, like, the military, basically. There's riders, there's scribes, there's the infantry, and there's healers. And so Violet grew up believing that she was going to be a scribe, and that's like what she trained for her whole life. But then a little bit before the trial for the riders, her mom declares that she has to become a rider, and if she dies, she dies. And so watch Violet go through the rider's trial and the quadrant and meet everybody. It's such an adventure. The dragons are so fun. And I feel like Violet is a really good female main character. I loved following her and her relationship with Xaden. It was so fun to watch it grow. It was just really intriguing all around, and I would really recommend this to anybody who loves fantasy romance, and is looking for a good time, not necessarily the best literature in the world. My next book, best book of 2024, kind of came as a surprise to me because I did not expect to like this book as much as I did, but that book is Silver Under Nightfall by Rinchi Pueko. This book literally, like, had me in shambles. I was so obsessed with it. You can ask Zayani, like, I was talking about it nonstop. It follows a boy named Remy Pendergast, who he is the son of a reaper, and he's a reaper himself. Reapers are basically humans who go after and hunt vampires who have, like, kind of gone crazy. But within his, like, section of his kingdom, I believe, there has been this plague going around called the rot that's making vampires turn into these, like, zombie-like creatures. So he had been going after them himself, and he is very hated by his town and stuff. So he kind of, like, was an outcast and was always doing things on his own. And he meets the leader of the vampires' 4th court and her mate, and the 3 of them together set out and kind of go on this, like, adventure kind of journey thing where they try to discover what caused the rot and why it is spreading, and go after the people who created it. And it's so fun. The adventure is fun, the mystery is fun, the romance is so good. I love a good polyamorous romance. This book, I would recommend it to anybody who likes those things, likes vampires, likes mysteries, romance. It's all in here, and it's really good. Question number 2 is, what is the best sequel you've read so far this year? It's similar to what I said for the other question. My sequels that I've read this year have been pretty good, but obviously not anything mind-blowing. I'm sure when we make our favorite books video at the end of the year, I'll have something even more amazing, I hope. Now, my favorite sequel that I read this year was A Perilous Undertaking by Deanna Rayburn. If you've never heard of this series, this is the sequel to the Veronica Speedwell mysteries. The first book is A Curious Beginning. She's back there. I read A Curious Beginning last year, and I read A Perilous Undertaking this year, and it was very good. I think it was a super fun sequel. So to explain what A Curious Beginning is about, because obviously this is the sequel, A Curious Beginning follows Veronica Speedwell, a woman living in the 1800s, who finds herself finally free to do whatever she wants after her caretaker, one of her aunts, passes away. She wants to get back to her butterfly hunting, her science, whatever she's very into. She wants to get back to that. Before she can do that, she finds herself thwarting her own capture, basically. This person tries to capture her, and she escapes this capture with the help of this German baron who tells her that there's a mystery afoot. There's something going on that she needs to know. But before he can explain to her the full plot, he ends up passing away. But before that, basically she finds shelter through the German baron's friend, Stoker, who is this bad-tempered, sort of outcast historian. So the 2 of them end up rooming together, but after the Baron is found dead, they end up teaming up to figure out who could have done it, what mystery was he trying to tell Veronica before he passed away, and everything that goes along with being detectives in the 1800s. I think if you like intrigue, if you like mystery, that's kind of a common theme here. You'll definitely enjoy. It's very fun, historical romance. It's not really enemies to lovers, but they sort of have some banter. It's super fun. And yeah, the sequel was just as good, and I can't wait to move on to book 3. My best sequel of 2024 so far has to be Killer Instinct by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Zay talked about the book, I think it comes after this one.
Yeah.
All In comes after this one. And so I'm not going to say too much about it, but I also love Criminal Minds, not as much as Zay does. She is much more of a fan than me. I loved the crime aspect and I loved the found family, and I think that this book focused on like the friendship a little bit more, and so I think that that's why it was my favorite sequel so far. But yeah. Next question is a new release you haven't read but you want to. So my new release that I really want to read that I haven't gotten to yet is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I've never read any Abby Jimenez book, but I do want to. I just really think this one could be for me. So what I think this book is about, I'm not really sure. I think both the main characters have a curse, and so every single relationship they've been in, the person, after they break up, the person they dated ends up finding the love of their life, getting married, living happily ever after. And so in order to cancel out this curse, the two of them end up deciding to date each other just for the summer and seeing if once the two of them break up, they will go on and find love of their lives as well. I'm pretty sure there's more to it. I'm sure it's going to be amazing, and I'm really excited to figure out. If you liked it, please let me know. Okay, so my newest release that I'm most looking forward to has to be A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. I don't know anything about this book. So what I know is from Mel Reads, who me and Zay love watching me and Zay love watching her videos, and she's made me really want to read it. But from what I know, it's about a woman who owns like this tea place by day, and then by night it's like something by night it's something illegal. Blood. Okay. Let me step in. Anyways, guys, let me step in to tell this because this is kind of a both of us thing anyway. Yeah. So basically, A Tempest of Tea is about a woman, I don't know her name, but she owns a tea shop by day and a blood sort of drink shop by night.
For vampires.
For
right?
vampires,
Okay.
yes. This like is very illegal. She's not supposed to do that. After her shop gets threatened, she teams up with some other vampires, I think like 3, I don't really know, and they decide to do this heist to get this item or something that'll help them save the tea shop. I'm not really sure anything else about that.
It sounds super cool, and that's all I know.
Exactly.
That's all I need to know. One thing about me, I will go into a book blind.
Exactly.
So.
And heist, you know, I'm
Exactly.
there. Exactly.
Okay, so next question is most anticipated release for the second half of 2024.
Okay, so I'm not that amazing at keeping up with new releases. I really don't really know about books until I hear somebody talking about them or I find them on my own, like in the bookstore. So my most anticipated read for the second half of 2024 is going to be The Grandest Game, I think, by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I already talked about Jennifer Lynn Barnes earlier. I really love the Inheritance games and the Naturals. So her new release is coming, so it's kind of a no-brainer for me that I'll be interested in it. So yeah, I definitely want to check that one out. I think it comes out in August. That was a total guess. I don't even know. Okay, so just like Zay, I am very bad at keeping up with new releases. One that I've been looking forward to ever since I read the first book is Heavenly Tyrant by Jiren J. Zhao. I think I said that right based on the TikTok we watched. Iron Widow was so good. It actually like left me in shambles. I was so insane after it. It was just so good. Like I really liked it, and I usually like those kinds of books I wouldn't like, but the writing style and the way the entire story like progressed, it was just so good. I loved it so much, and I'm really looking forward to that, even if I am a tad bit scared. So question 5 is biggest disappointment. I don't really like talking about disappointments. I mean, I don't have that high of standards yet. But my biggest disappointment of 2024 is Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. I read Cinder, I'm pretty sure last year, I think, and I did really like it. It was just like a quick like sort of palate cleanser that I read it between like bigger fantasy books. But I was really excited to go into Scarlet this year because last year I really struggled reading sequels. So I was really excited to get into it, like start off the year strong with a sequel. And Scarlet, not that it was a huge disappointment, it just felt really slow, like it dragged a little in the middle. But I did really like Scarlet as a character, and I finished the whole thing, so I guess it wasn't that bad. But I'm actually still going to continue to Cress, I think is next. So my biggest disappointment this year is not very much biggest at all. Like, this book was genuinely really good. I think why it was a disappointment to me is because of like
all the other books this author has had and how much I have appreciated them. But this book is Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood, and it honestly hurts my heart to say biggest disappointment because I rated this 4 stars. Like, it was so fun and I love the characters. I think it was just like, when I think of Ali Hazelwood and how much I love her other books, her adult books, I expected this to be on that level, and it just wasn't quite there. I felt a little bit unsatisfied, and I know a complaint that people have about Ali Hazelwood's main characters are that they're kind of repetitive, which I never felt that way. Even though they have this quirky, witty quality to them, they each had very much their own personalities. But this book was the first time where I felt like, oh, maybe I've read this before. And so I think that that kind of threw me off sometimes. But like, the romance itself and the chess aspect was so interesting. Like, that did not disappoint at all. I think it was just maybe the main character and how the relationship progressed was a little bit unsatisfying to me. But no way is this the biggest. I'm sure I'm going to read something else bad later this year. But yeah, Check and Mate is the answer for this one. So question 6 is biggest surprise of the year. My biggest surprise of this year was The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. I read The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett for my English class at the end of the year. So we got to choose our own book and basically have a book club about it. It was super fun. Well, not super fun, but it was interesting. So basically this book follows 2 twin sisters, Desiree and Stella, who are light-skinned sisters who lived during the 1950s. They are from a small town called Mallard in Louisiana, and in Mallard pretty much everybody is of lighter skin. That's like where they all go, I guess. And in Mallard, the book starts off early in their childhood. The twins disappeared and they ended up running away. No one knew where they were, what happened for years and years, until one day one of the twins, Desiree, comes back to Mallard. And not only does she come back to Mallard, but she has a child, and the child is dark skinned. This really was a surprise for everybody, as like they're all colorist there, and the story basically follows Desiree. You see pretty much from when they disappeared to all the way to why Desiree comes back, not only by herself but with a child. This book had really interesting themes. Obviously not just because I'm a twin I related to it, but you know, me and Zanaya being light skinned, and there being so many interesting topics and discussions. There was talks about colorism, like domestic violence, what it means to be white passing basically as a light skinned person, how that changes people in the black community and how it separates people. It was so good. I couldn't have chosen a better book for the book club, and I'm really glad I read it. Okay, so my biggest surprise this year has to be Love, Hate, and Other Filters by Samira Ahmed. I also read that book for English, and obviously we all know that English books aren't always the best books, but since we got to choose them this year, I feel like they were pretty good. This book follows Maya, who is American-born Indian, so her parents are Indian, and she's from the US. And she's 17, she's in high school, and she kind of is torn between both of her cultures. I mean, at school, her best friends, everyone is basically white because she lives in this small suburban town in Chicago, but she also has her family, her culture, that seems to be sort of pressure or like a constant like chain against what she would like to do. So she has a lot of tensions with her parents because her parents kind of want her to be this perfect Indian daughter, to go to school close to home, maybe even commute, find a suitable Muslim boy for her to marry. But she is the complete opposite of all of that. She's very into art and movies specifically. The book has a very heavy like movie documentary making subplot, and she really wants to go to school in New York. And so you kind of see as she navigates like her senior year, where she meets this boy who she has always liked but is just kind of now entering her orbit. And you see how after a hate crime occurs to her parents following the bombing of their convenience store, Maya kind of has to see who's truly a friend, who's truly not a friend. You see how she navigates the life of her senior year in the midst of all of this turmoil. It was really good, safe to say. Obviously it's in this category. I loved it a lot. I'm really glad that I got to read it at this time since I'm a senior and she's a senior. It was super relatable, and yeah. The next question is new favorite author, debut or new to you. Not to bring up the same book again, but you know, she fits. My new favorite author, she's sort of new to me, I don't know, is Deanna Rayburn, who wrote the Veronica Speedwell series.
Even though I read this book last year and I read A Perilous Undertaking this year, I still look back on these books super fondly. I'm super excited to read the next one. I think the way she writes mysteries is super intriguing, and I love the historical elements. It just really puts you into the atmosphere of the 1800s, what it meant to be a woman in science. An outcast around that time, and just I really love the way she writes banter as well. Like, you just feel so pulled in, like you feel so connected to the characters, they feel so real, and I really like the way the story is playing out as well. So I'm excited to see what the next one's about, see if this continues to be what I really enjoy. So my newest favorite author would have to be Naoya Matsumoto, who wrote Kaiju number 8, the manga. If you know me, I have been talking about this on TikTok a lot. I love this series, and this author is definitely a big reason why. I love the way he writes characters, and I love like the story arc and how the characters just blend so well, like in their environments. I that's kind of a weird thing to say, but like their personalities are like so fitting for what's going on. I think the main character is so endearing. He's kind of like an older MC, which you don't see a lot in manga and anime, and so it has been so fun reading this and so fun watching. I actually have not watched the anime yet. I mean, like, watching the story progress. I'm really excited to start the anime, and this author, I'll definitely read anything he writes, so yeah. Question number 8 is newest fictional crush. Okay, so I'm not going to bring the books out because I already talked about them, but my newest fictional crushes are Cassian from ACOTAR and Michael from The Naturals. So yeah, don't know what to say, they're both fine. So my newest fictional crushes would have to be Zayden from Fourth Wing, Rino Ichikawa from Kaiju number 8, and Nolan Sawyer from Chicken Meat.
Damn.
We love them. So next question is newest favorite characters. My newest favorite character is kind of interchangeable with fictional crushes, but favorite characters, I have to say Iris from Terms and Conditions. I really liked her, obviously. She's black like me. And also Desiree from The Vanishing Half. I think she was so interesting to follow. I really liked her character. So my newest favorite characters have to be the entire cast of So Far Under Nightfall, and by cast I mean the 3 main characters and nobody else. Remy, Zidane, and Zhao Dan. Yeah, the 3 of them were so fun together. I loved their group dynamic. I loved each and every one of them individually. Like, oh, it just ate so bad. Yeah, they're my favorites this year. So question 10 is book that made you cry. Not to sound like a broken record, but actually I didn't actually cry that much yet to any books. I'm not really like a sad book person. Like, I'll read a sad book when I want to be sad, but that's usually not that often. But a book that felt really emotional, that I definitely teared up at times, was The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. Obviously it handles like a lot of sensitive topics. Actually, let me show it to you again in case you didn't. Yeah, it handles a lot of very tough topics, very trigger warning if you want to read it, but it was very sad, but it was also, and it also didn't really end that like happy ending-y. But yeah, I think it was a fitting ending, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it made me very sad at moments. My book that made me cry would have to be Kaiju number 8 volume 7. If you know, you know. This book was so sad, and it wasn't even the entire manga, it was just like this one part that happened, and I was so freaking sad. Yeah, I love anime or manga that can make me cry, like make me get like that emotionally attached that I cry. So that's kind of a good manga if you ask me. We're reaching the home stretch. Question 11, book that made you happy. A book that made me happy was Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Everyone knows Stephanie Garber now. She's very good at writing like super fairy tale-esque books, and that's exactly what this one was for me. I really enjoyed it, and honestly it was kind of not surprising, but I heard this was circusy, and I don't usually love circusy type books. But this one, I really enjoyed it, and honestly I was just reading this book to get to the second series, Once Upon a Broken Heart. But I'm actually really enjoying this one, and I'm glad. I was smiling, I was laughing, the romance is super cute, and the mystery's really good, so yeah. So the book that made me happy was Ride by Ally Hazelwood. As you can tell, I'm an Ally Hazelwood girl. Like, I will read anything she writes. Ride really made me happy. I loved the vampire werewolf aspect. Misery was so fun, like, of a character to read, and especially because Ally Hazelwood's main characters can be kind of like very giggly, peppy, like happy characters. She was kind of not that, but she was also still a very witty, very funny, and very like endearing to see. And so yeah, this book made me really happy. The relationship between the couple, her relationship with Lo's little sister, I forget her name, it starts with an A. I'll find it later, but yeah, the relationship between the two of them made me smile so much. So yeah. So question 13 is most beautiful book you've bought or received. We're gonna be together on this one because we basically have the same answers because we have the same books. The first most beautiful book that we've bought recently is 5 Broken Blades by My Corland. We specifically bought this book because it was so beautiful, because look at that. Look at the edges. Take a moment. It's so beautiful. The end papers. Just, it sounds so good. And it just already sounds like a really good book on its own. Wait, show under the dust jacket. Oh yeah, you're right. Under the dust jacket, so sparkly, so gold. It's going on display. Exactly. Sure. I don't even really know what this is about. I just know it sounds kind of found family, but it also sounds kind of scary, like heist kind of. Which I'll eat up any day. I actually bought this like the other day. Yeah, like literally yesterday. So next one is one we received for our grad party, I think. And that is Blood Marked by Tracy Dion. I read Legendborn last year. I loved it. I have not read either of these books. Tell her to read it. Beautiful. Tell her to read it. Blood Marked, I'm so excited about. Obviously this cover, like, Brie looking amazing per usual. Yeah, I don't even know why I haven't gotten to this yet. So maybe bully me too. Super excited and love this cover. Last question. Last question is, what books do you really need to read by the end of the year? This one kind of has a cheat answer. It's pretty much everything, anything. Anything that we own, TBR, physical TBR, is insane. Yeah. So all of our books that are on there are an answer to this question. But we are going to speed run a bunch of them. We're going to take turns. It's going to be funny. Okay. Blood Marked. The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. Before They Are Hanged, Joe Abercrombie. Daughter of No World by Carissa Rodman. Black Leopard Red Wolf. Black Sun by Rebecca Rowanhorse. Wicked King by Holly Black. Persephone Station, which this is also a beautiful book. Kaiji number 8, volume 1. Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher for me. Big, last but not least for me, Fourth Wing. Okay, so we also have a few together. We have Bad Blood, the last book in the Naturals. Throne of Glass, which, don't hate on us too much, we're getting there. 5 Broken Blades for the both of us, and Spy Family and Soul Eater mangas. Yes. Alright, that was it. That's for our first YouTube video. Yes, we are so excited and happy and sweaty to be filming this. Sorry if you heard some noises. There was fireworks going on for a quick second there. We had to change the battery last time. It was our first time. It was super fun, and we're super happy to make this. Please let us know what you think about any of these books. If you think we should read them, think we shouldn't, if you like them, if you didn't, please tell us anything and everything. Your support would mean the world. I don't know, because this is our first video, so obviously that's scary. TikTok and stuff, anybody who watches this, thank you for watching. We're so happy, and we're excited to be in the game and making so many videos. And we hope to make friends too, so please comment and talk to us. So thank you. See you next time.